Cage Warriors Super Saturday has got a mega card on, stacked with fights. I'm joined by one of the gentlemen fighting on there. Jack Shaw, you're taking on let's say, one of the pioneers in British MMA, let's put it that way, Vaughan Lee. He's a gentleman, great guy to talk to, and you get your opportunity to really show yourself as one of the top level mixed martial artists. When you face someone like that, you've got to be absolutely pumped.
Yeah, I can't wait. I've been saying it now for weeks. It's probably, apart from a title fight, the biggest name or the biggest type of fight I could have had. You know, ex-UFC guy. I think you have more fights in the UFC than I've had pro fights. So that in itself, to be fighting someone of that caliber, you know, is a great opportunity for me to show that I'm more than capable of mixing it with some of the best guys on the circuit. And
obviously with the weight, we've had you talked about obviously 145 and then 135. So when did you guys decide that the time was right to make the move? What was the kind of point that made you think it's time to go down? Was it something that was in the pipeline after so many fights? What was it?
We toyed with the idea for a couple of fights. I was making 145 comfortably, and then my last fight in Belgium, I trained about 2 weeks before with my strength conditioning coach, and I weighed, and I was something like 6 pounds over 2 weeks out. And I ended up cutting something like 3 pounds on the morning of the weigh just to make featherweight, which is next to nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been lucky in the sense that my fights at featherweight, I've never really fought a monster featherweight who's a big unit. Yeah. But also, it's only a matter of time, you know, especially if I want to progress to championships and UFC and whatever. You know, I seen like Brian Ortega come into the fight against Ed like 20 pounds heavier. Like I don't even go up to as heavy as what he walked in there at. So bantamweight was a logical step. Like I said, we toyed with it for a long time, but after having such an easy cut in the last fight, we decided to give it a go. And you know, we've made the right adjustments, diet wise, training wise. We've talked much more of like a scientific approach with the cardio and stuff and the diet, and it's paid off. And you know, I'm more than on target, and you know, just last bit of weight to shift now. Obviously, the weigh-in's Friday.
And how have you felt with being light with this cut? Like, do you obviously walking a little bit lighter? Have you noticed a difference? Do you feel any difference in that kind of weight cut?
I mean, it sounds cliche. I'll say it, and everyone will say, "Ah, he's full of shit." But it's I generally don't feel like I've lost any strength. I'm moving a lot. I know that a little bit faster just because I'm that little bit lighter walking around. I feel just as good, you know, going into this cut as I do going into cuts at 145. I don't feel it's affecting my strength or my cardio or anything like that. So I'm looking forward to get in a fight in that division and obviously making a mark on that division and staying there.
And what you did in your last fight was kind of flip everything over, because everyone was seeing you as this very strong grappler. You showed some great stuff in your earlier fights where you would use striking, get someone on the ground, and they just weren't getting up. You were like a blanket. They just could not handle your grappling prowess. But the thing was, last fight you kind of was like, I'm not going to bother tonight. I'm just going to stand up and bang. And you lit the guy up like a Christmas tree, and it was just a hell of a performance. And you kind of put everyone up on point there. Everyone kind of went, hang on a minute. He's not just a grappler now. We've got to worry about this striking that he's not been showing really as much. Yeah. Was that something you kind of just felt, I just want to strike, man. I just want to bang with this dude?
Well, my coaches have been saying for a long time. My boxing coach, Gary Lockett, is probably one of the best boxing coaches in the UK, if not in the world. And, you know, between him and obviously my dad and Carl, they've been saying for a long time, you know, your stand-up is on a level with your ground game. But like you said, never had to use it. And what I was due to fight Federico Mini, and he pulled out some like 5 days before the fight. So they got a replacement. And when I done a little bit of research, the guy was a Olympic judo representative for Italy. So obviously I knew to get him down and keep him down was going. You know, they judo guys, they're tough to get down, or you know, they got
good base,
very strong base. So you know, we said let's have a look at it on the feet. Now I work out on my striking all the time. I done a lot of striking when I went to Jackson Wink for the month. I done a lot of striking out there with that team, and I just decided, you know, go out there and let it go. You know, I always know I got the takedown in that ground game to fall back on if it's not going to plan. But you know, I feel like I give a good account of myself and showed that, you know, I'm not just a grappler. I can stand, and when I do stand, you know, it's not I'm not just swinging from the hips or from the pocket. I'm a technical striker as well.
Yeah, oh, it's all right.
Let me decline that.
Popular man. That was Frank Lester you were doing the striking with?
Frank Lester and Joey. Smoking Joe. Coach Joey. I can't think of the second name. I can't remember how to pronounce it. Joey.
You can answer that, buddy. Answer it. All right.
I'll go now. Let me 2 seconds. Let me put this in the other room. There we go, it's gone.
It's alright.
Yeah, I was doing a bit of striking out there with Frank Lester and Joey Visalo, Smoking Joey, veteran, fought on Pride, Strikeforce a lot. But obviously back home as well, I've been working my striking for years. For years I trained with Gavin Reese, and the last 2 years I've been
Not bad. Yeah. He's alright. He's alright.
And like the last 2 years I've been working, very hard with Gary Lockett, who was Gavin's coach, which so I can't ask for. And obviously Richard Shaw as well. He's not just a grappling coach like everyone thinks. He's been in the game a long time. He's got a good eye for striking. He picks up one thing. You'll watch a fight, you'll pick up on little things that even myself I don't always pick up on. So working especially with my dad and Gary has really given me the confidence to go out there and show off that I can strike. And I feel like now I've done it once, that confidence is there now.
Yes.
You can do it in sparring all day, and then until you actually do it, under the lights. Now I've done that, I feel like it's something that I'd be prepared to go to every fight.
Yeah, you got the confidence to switch between the two at any point. You don't just think get him down. It's very good, because then what happens is it kind of opens up. It makes the takedowns a bit easier now, because they'll be keeping their hands up a bit higher to protect the smush. They want to get a beautiful face, so it'll open up those opportunities probably for the takedowns.
For a long time, people would just, when people would get matched at a fight, they were just probably thinking, just avoid the takedown. Whereas now I've shown I can stand, and I had lots of said I eventually end up KOing the guy. It gives them something else to worry about, and like you said, I'm comfortable now. I can switch between the two. I'm an all-round guy, if I want to take it to the ground or keep it standing, I'll decide there and then.
I think the key was the composure you showed, because it's very easy to get involved in the fisticuffs, but then some guys they shoot everything. They just throw everything into that first. They land one shot. They think everything's going to land. But you were just so patient. You were just almost just picking them apart, and deciding the right time to then let that kind of, let that flurry out, to let that kind of numbers and just out punch him, just so he couldn't handle it anymore. That was the key. I think that was what kind of caught everyone more than anything, because anyone could just swing, but that composure was key, and that really kind of, I think, put a lot of fighters off maybe sign up to scrap with you.
Yeah, well, I mean, what I don't get a lot of credit for is, although I'm classed as a prospect, I admittedly I've only had 7 fights, but as pro fights, but I believe the way my fight IQ is a lot higher than what my record shows. My record doesn't do it justice as such. I've been fighting a long time between amateur and pro and amateur boxing, so I feel like you said, I'm never in a rush in it. I pick the moments right, and I feel like it's one of them ones, you try and force to finish too much, it doesn't always come, and then, when you just relax and go with the flow and let your instincts take over, that's when it starts to come, and I showed that in the fight, and like you said, that's something now that people got to be wary of in the future.
And yeah, Marshall was saying as well, when you were at Winkle, John, he said that he felt that for you, it was like that moment of clarity. You went, actually, I am good enough to be with these guys, these 135ers, these 145ers, these high elite level fighters like John Dobson. He said that he could see that it was that opportunity was something that you needed to open your eyes as a mixed martial artist. Go, do you know what? I do belong here. I've got that. I'm going to kick ass on the regional. I'm going to make it to the big time, kind of thing. Was that something you kind of saw when you were rolling and striking? Did you see, actually, I'm not drowning. I'm holding my own here. I'm good.
Yeah, like the main thing that I took away from the trip, John, I learned a lot of good techniques, especially striking techniques, wrestling techniques. But the main thing I took away from the 4 weeks out is, I'm not a million miles behind these guys. I sparred with a lot of good guys, Diego, John Dodson, a lot of good American guys as well, who are not in the UFC yet, but are on the verge. A couple of Brazilian guys out there, a lot of Chinese guys who have now progressed to the UFC. And, I was holding my own and doing well against those guys. So it gives you that confidence as well, you know, to show, you know, people can tell you all you want how good you are, but until you realise it in your own head, that's when you start to believe it. And that trip out there definitely helped do wonders for my confidence.
And recently, Brett Johns was complimentary in you about your position in MMA and your potential future. When you get a fellow Welshman, you know, backing you, because you're not in the same gym, but the thing is, I've noticed big time with the Welsh scene is it's not really a rivalry, so to speak. There is quite a support of gyms where, you know, one guy's doing well, everyone will push the other guy up from the other gyms. And Brett, he's certainly fond of your skill set and what you're doing. You obviously took that, you know, very well, I imagine.
Yeah, I done a post on Facebook. I say, you know, Brett is leading the way for the guys, especially the lower weight guys in this country. And not even since he got in the UFC, he's been doing that for a long time, you know, since he was the Cage Warriors champ. I mean, I've watched him train, and I've been lucky enough to train him a couple of times, and his work ethic and his attitude and his whole approach to MMA in general is inspiring. And he's a guy that, you know, I've looked up to growing up, and, you know, as an amateur and as a pro. So for him to say what he said, you know, was really nice. And you know, I appreciate the kind words from him and the support, like you said. You know, us guys in Wales, we sort of there's enough people out there for us to fight, but we haven't got to be fighting each other. So it's nice that we all, you know, get behind our own and support each other.
And then we go to the champion of Cage Warriors at the present time in the 135. You've got Nathaniel Wood. He's got a fight coming, the same card as you. There was, obviously, when you announced that you were dropping down, there was a bit of a rumour, well, I say a rumour, there was a lot of talk about people thinking, oh, Jack versus Nathaniel, that'd be a matchup. But there's a chance, though, with Nathaniel, if he wins this fight, that he might potentially get signed to the UFC and the Liverpool card that's coming up in May. There's a very good probability. So are you looking at this Vaughan Lee fight? Obviously, you look purely at Vaughan Lee, and you don't disrespect him, you don't look past him. But with that maybe happening, that might be a vacant title for grabs. Do you see that Vaughan Lee is a chance for you to kind of state yourself as a guy who should be getting the next stab at the title, or at least be in those discussions with the Cage Warriors?
Yeah, I'd like to think so. You know, whether it be against Nathaniel or, like you said, is a very good probability that he could well get signed for the Liverpool show should he win on the weekend. But I'd like to think, you know, if I get the win on Saturday and I do it, you know, in the fashion that I'm hoping to do it in, then I should, you know, definitely put myself in for the next shot of the title, or like you said, at least be considered for it. There's a lot of good guys in Europe, and, you know, I'm game to fight in any of them, and whether it be against Nathaniel or it be against someone else, a win on Saturday should push me in that direction.
And I was going to say, because it's gone pretty well for you. Think about where we're right now this Saturday coming. When we last spoke in Glasgow, that's a hell of a ride.
Yeah. In a bad couple of months.
I was sitting back, honestly, the other day, and I thought, actually, hang on. When we spoke then, I said, bloody hell, it's gone pretty well, actually, when you think about the time scale. I mean, it's obviously it's testament to the training that you're getting. You know, like you say, Richard's there. He's obviously supporting you, but he's obviously not mollycoddling you. You know, that's there could be that worry that would happen, but I imagine it's tough love. You know, he will tell you when you're doing awful, and he'll tell you when you're doing right. There's a balance between praise and criticism, and I imagine he gets the balance right with you. Yeah,
it's the same, you know, as any coach. When we're in the gym or when we're at the fight or whatever, it ends father and son, then it's fighter and coach. Or obviously, you know, he's still going to have that little bit of father instinct in him when I am fighting or whatever. But that's, like you said, it's finding the right balance. And I think that's why we do so well, because, you know, if I do something wrong, he'll be sure to let me know about it. And vice versa, when I'm doing something well, you know, he'll be he's not afraid to say, keep that going and whatever. But it's, like you said, we've got a good balance, and the structure we got is obviously working.
Yeah, and it's working so well so far, and I legitimately love the Super Saturday card. They did it when they last did it. It was fantastic, and this is obviously going to be an absolute cracker. Again, you're exposed on UFC Fight Pass, BT Sport. It's just a ridiculous amount of exposure for yourself as a fighter, and obviously for your gym and everything else. And it's a good, you know, way for represent Wales in London, and it's just something that fighters can jump onto and get excited about when you fight on Cage Warriors now. With that kind of, it was that network exposure. You can't really get that in many other places.
No, you know, outside the UFC, you can argue that there is no other promotion really that can give me the sort of promotion and the sort of exposure that I'm getting at the minute. Especially with Super Saturday, you know, the last one was massive. I think there's 9 guys that fought on that card that are now in the UFC. So to get a shot on this card and on the second main card as well. I know I'm not on the prelim, so it's a good move in the right direction for me. And there'll be a lot of eyes on Saturday, so I just got to go out there and perform and make sure that the eyes are seeing what I want them to see and not.
And look, I can't wait for it, buddy. Honestly, seriously, I am so stoked for that card. I am. My life, I'm no social life. I'll just be sitting down, putting this on. The world can just go jog and go forth and multiply. Honestly, I don't care. I'll be watching the fights from the start to the end. I can't wait for it, mate. Everything's going to be on charge because I'll be tweeting away and watching the fights. Being a sad individual. I am that kind of guy. I'm like, yeah, get in there. But look, man, have a great fight against Vaughan Lee. It's a fantastic matchup that they've made. It's a huge card. It's going to be an absolute barn burner with all the fights put together. They've matched up. Again, Ian Dean, he's a wizard, let's be honest. He's a great guy as well. I've met him, I've had great conversations. Top man, but he's a little wizard. It's freaky how he finds up some of these matchups. But, mate, enjoy the weight cut. Enjoy the whole weekend and experience. But before I let you go, give a mention to, you obviously Tillery Combat, top gym, awesome gym in Wales, but is there anyone in particular that you're training with that's helped you out? Have you brought people in, etc.? Anyone else that you've not mentioned? And obviously sponsors and your social media is key.
Yeah, just all my, big fans of my team as always. Every camp I have seems to get better and better, and my training partners and my coaches, Carl Parker, Richard Saul, Gary Lockett, they just bring me on leaps and bounds. Special thanks as well to Big GC, Greg Carlo, does my strength conditioning, but my nutrition as well, and has made this drop, a nice, comfortable one. And obviously, just, big thanks to all my sponsors. You'll find them all on my my Instagram and my Twitter. I got too many to be naming out individually. We'll be here all day, and I'll forget someone and upset people. But big thanks to all them, and as well, obviously, thanks to Cage Warriors for once again giving me a shot on the card, and I'll come in to put on the show, steal the show even. So. And thanks to you, John, for the interview as well.
I'll always be pleasure speaking to you, my friend. And social media then, how can people follow you? What are you on?
Instagram and Twitter, Jack Show MMA, and Facebook is Jack Tank Show. So give me a like or a follow, and I might do one back. Give
him one, people, a follow, that is. All right, and jump on social media, people. All right, Jack, thanks very much, mate. Great for having your time. Go and enjoy the rest of your evening, my friend.
Will do. Cheers, John.